Let's dive into the first one. A polynomial function p is given by p of x equals negative x minus 4, x plus 2. The first step you have to do is set this one equals 0 and then solve for zeros first. Then you will get x equals 0 and x equals 4 and x equals negative 2. And as you see this polynomial, each factor multiplicity is 1. That is important. If it's an odd power, multiplicity is an odd power, then it will pass through. If it's even power, then it will bounce up at the zeros. So you draw number line, and then you put down all the zeros in the number line. So negative 2 here, 0, and 4. So this is a p of x graph. In the polynomial graph, the one you need to know, power is important for the leading term. So you see that here negative x and x. So if you multiply it out, I know the leading term will be negative x cubed. So this one is very important information for polynomial graph. So if this exponent, that's a degree of the polynomial is a 3, then if it's odd, and this is a coefficient, right? So let's say ax to the n, then the one you need to know, if a is a positive and n is even, then graph shape like this way, okay? And if a is a negative, also n is even, then both going down, okay? And what if n is odd, right? N is like 1, 3, like this problem. Then leading coefficient positive, then it'll go left hand side going down, and then right hand side it'll going up, okay? And if a is a negative and also n is odd, then left hand side will go up, right hand side go down, okay? Those concept is the key for this problem. So let's mark it. Then it has an including sign, so I'm gonna mark it the field, the darkened circle here, not open circle, closed circle. I'm gonna put it, and then follow this one is odd and leading coefficient negative, so it should be this case. So if you follow that, then graph looks like this, right? Then where is your p of x is a positive here, so then it should be here, this region and this region. So the question is they ask interval rotation. So interval rotation for that region, you can say negative infinite to negative 2, and you have to put square bracket because it's closed at negative 2, and union also closed 0 and 4. Okay, so between 0 and 4 and then closed. So if you look at the answer choices, should be D. Okay, let's move on. The function f is given by f of x is a 9 times 25 to the x power, and then which of the following is the equivalent form for f of x. Okay, so you need to look at the answer choices first. So which one is similar to that one? You can make it this 9, like 3 to the square, but as you see, those 3 is just 3 to the 1 power, so it cannot be answered. I'm using process of elimination. I think that's the fastest way to solve the problem. So I'm going to keep just 9 times. We know that 5 is, 25 is a 5 to the second power, to the power of x. And then we know from the exponent rule, let's say x to m to the power of n, then you multiply, then x to mn. There's a lot of rules that you need to go over. That one I'm going to make a separate video for all the formulas, okay? But for this video, I'm going to just write down the formula you need. So this is the formula you're going to need for exponential computation. So when you multiply it out, 9 times 5 to the 2 times x, which is 2x. So answer is D. Okay. Number 3, the figure shows the graph of a function f. The zero extrema for f are labeled. So we know that this one relative maximum, relative minimum, and this one looks like critical point also for, and then point of inflection. Yeah, it said that label A, B, C, D, E represent x coordinate at those points. And of the following, on which interval f is increasing and the graph of f concave down. So where's the graph increasing? So you can say this one increasing, or is it from left to right? Okay, you have to look at always from the left to the right. So then this one is increasing, you can say, and this one decreasing, and also this one decreasing, and this one increasing. Okay, that's how I'm gonna say. Now next, how do you know concave down or concave up? So this graph is concave down up to this point of inflection. Now the concavity changes now concave up. Okay, that's why we call this point C is a point of inflection. So concavity changes at that point. Now look at the answer choices then. Where is it increasing? And graph will concave down. So then it should be right here, right? This one is increasing, right? Increasing here and here, but that's a part of concave up. So it should be concave down that one. So it should be between A and B. A is answer. Okay. Now let's move on. Number 4. The function f is given by f of x is a 5x to 6 minus 2x cubed minus 3. And which of the following describes the end behavior of f? Okay. So like I said earlier, this is a polynomial and leading term is a 5x to 6 power. So degree of the polynomial is a 6, even. So, and then also leading coefficient positive. So I know both end like this. Right? So this is a limit notation. It's very common. You should be familiar with this limit notation. We're gonna learn more about limit in calculus, but in pre-cal kind of introduction of limit. So you need to know how to write it. So limit x approaches to negative infinite, which means graph goes this way, right? When x goes to negative infinite, it moves this way. When it moves away to the left, then where the graph go, right? So it keep going up. So you have to say this f of x should go to infinite. Okay, positive infinite. Now what about this side here? So then limit x approaches to infinite f of x. So when x moving to the right, the graph also goes up. So then you can say this also infinity as well. So if you look at the answer choices, then B should be answer. Okay. Number 5, xy positive constant. And which of the following is equivalent to 2 ln x minus 3 ln x? So these also a lot of rules you need to know for logarithm. But here, I'm going to just talk about the one you need. So first of all is, let's say, ln of x, and you have a constant, then you can bring it up here. So ln x to a power. Okay, that's the first rule you need to know. And then second rule, if it's a ln or log, same thing basically, x minus ln y, then if it's a subtraction, then ln x over y. Okay, of course if it's a plus, then ln x y like that. Okay, so we're gonna use those two rules. So here you can rewrite as ln x squared when you bring this one 2 as an exponent, and also same way this 3 as an exponent, then minus ln of y cubed. Now I'm going to use this second rule. So then ln of x squared over y cubed. Okay, so then answer should be A. Number 6, the polynomial function p is given by p of x, x plus 3, x squared minus 2x minus 15. And then which of the following describes the zeros? Okay, if you see this type of problem, you have to think about first, is it factorable? So if it is factorable, then factor as much as you can. So I noticed this on x plus 3, and here, which is x minus 5, and x plus 3. Okay, I believe I factored correctly. Yeah, okay. So we know that it has, when you talk about zeros, set each one equal 0, right? Let's solve for x. So I know x is a negative 3. That's a multiplicity 2, double root. And also x equals a 5. That's a multiplicity 1. So you can say those are two distinct roots, which is real zeros. And so don't count this one as a 2 because it's a 3 distinct, right? Distinct means different. So you have only two different answers. So answer is A. Okay. Sometimes they ask you like multiplicity. So you should know what multiplicity stands for. So x plus 3 squared. So that power shows multiplicity. So you have to say this polynomial has a 0 at negative 3, and that multiplicity is a 2. Okay, and then the other one is x minus 5. Then you can say this polynomial has a 0 at 5, but multiplicity is 1. Number 7, in the xy plane, the graph of the rational function, rational function means like fraction like that, has a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 5, which means you already know this vertical asymptote means x plus 5. This factor should be on the denominator, not numerator. Okay, on the denominator. And then which of the following could be expression for f of x? So let's look at the answer choices. On one thing you should know, is that vertical asymptote not 0, right? So on the top, you shouldn't have x plus 5, right? So those are here you can say x equals negative 5 is a 0, not vertical asymptote, so eliminate. It looks like this one you have x plus 5, but you have also x plus 5 on the top, right? So if you have x plus 5 upstairs and downstairs, then we call this one, there's a hole at x equals negative 5. So if you have a same factor on the numerator and denominator, that's the location of hole, not vertical asymptote. So you can eliminate as well. And C, those are also zeros. So like I said, this one should be on the denominator, not numerator. So answer comes down to D, right? Yeah, that one you can say at x equals negative 5, the polynomial rational function has vertical asymptote. And also this one you can tell at x equals 3, there's a hole. Okay, they didn't ask, but you can tell. And also at the same time, they can ask you what is a horizontal asymptote, right? Horizontal asymptote. They didn't ask, but just like quick review. Horizontal asymptote is as long as you have the same power. You see that this one like leading term x squared, bottom is also x squared. So leading term x squared over x squared, and then coefficient is 1, 1. So then you can say y equals 1 is a horizontal asymptote for this problem. Okay. Let f be a sinusoidal function, which is it could be sine or cosine like that. And then y equals f of x is given in the xy plane. And what is the period of f? Period means one full cycle. So as we see, one full cycle, like this is a one period, right? So it ended like here, 4. You can look at it like, oh, can I look at from here to like that? Yeah, you can look at that. That's also 1 to 5 is a 4. So clearly 4 is the answer for one period. So like from here, like that, that's a one period. Okay, that's one cycle. Then answer should be C. Now number 9, the graph of y equals f of x consisting of 4 line segments and a semicircle shown for negative 3 and 3. And which of the following is transform the graph f of, here you need to pay attention for what is this notation for. So from y equals f of x, if you have a x plus 1 here instead of x, that means that's a horizontal shift. So you can say horizontal shift by 1 unit left. Okay, so horizontal is opposite sign. If it's x plus 1 means 1 unit to the left. X minus 1, then horizontal shift by 1 unit to the right. Okay, but this one, negative 2 stand for vertical shift. So if it's a plus 2, then shift 2 unit up. But like this problem, negative 2 means 2 unit down, right? Vertical translation. Translation shift basically same meaning, same expression in this type of problem. So let's see. So we figure 1 unit left and 2 unit down of this one. So if I choose just one, you don't have to choose this one, but that's my reference point, for example. Then 1 unit to the left, so I know 1 unit right equals here, and 2 unit down, so 2 unit down here, right? So that point should be right here, okay? So I'm gonna mark it. That one should be here. So your graph looks like something like, and let's see, that one, go down 1 and go 2 here and like that. So which one same as that graph, right? So I see that that's A, right? The rest of it doesn't look like it, okay? Now number 10, the exponential function. So they give you format, a times b to the x, and a be a positive constant. The table gives the values of f of x at selected values of x, and which of the following statement is true. Okay, so you can eliminate first. Is it exponential decay or growth, right? By looking at the data, so you see that this one is equal ranks of like x value, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you see, your y value keep increasing. So actually it's a double, right? This one times 2 will be this. This one times 2 will be this. Also, this one times 2 will be that. And 3 times 2 is this. 6 times 2 is 12. So we know that it's like you keep multiply by 2. So that means exponential growth, so this one eliminate. Now, if you keep multiply by 2, which means your b value should be 2, right? And then this one, when x equals 0 is 3/4, means that 3/4 is a value. So you can say f of x equals 3/4 times 2 to the x. So as you see, when x equals 0, so 2 to the 0 is 1, and 3/4 times 1 is 3/4. So that represented this data here. When x is 1, 3/4 times 2, which is you can reduce here, 3/2, and you see that that's correct. So we know that it should be exponential growth. Why? As long as your b value is greater than 1, then that's exponential growth. If your b value is between 0 and 1, we call exponential decay. Okay, this one decay, but this one is since it's a 2, that's a growth. Okay, so answer is, let's see, D, right? Because b is greater than 1. 11. The function f is given by f of x equals x squared plus 1. The function g given by g of x is x minus 3 over x. Which of the following is an expression for f of g of x? Okay, this one, f of g of x is, this one we call composite function. So what you need to do is this g of x, you substitute into f of x. That's what it meant. So you can rewrite as a f of then x minus 3 over x. I replace the g of x as x minus 3 over x. And then this one is just like an x here. So whatever your input, that one input square plus 1. So your input is x minus 3 over 3. I mean, over x. So you can just plug it in here, right? So that's x minus 3 over x square, because your input is x minus 3 over x. That input square plus 1. Okay, it looks like you have to multiply it out. So x minus 3 square over x square plus 1. Okay, looks like answer is a C already, but let's prove it. So if you multiply it out, x minus 3 square, so x square minus 6x plus 9. I believe you know how to FOIL this one. Over x square plus 1, then answer should be C. Okay, 11 is a C. That's correct answer. Now let's move on to number 12. The table shows the values for the function g at selected value of x. Okay, as you see, x is a equal length, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that, and then y value is increasing. So okay, and then let's look at it first. Okay, so this one keep increasing, so should increase. Let's see which of the following claim and also explanation statement best fits this data. Okay, so if you look at the answer choices here, so they talk about linear function and the other two is a quadratic. Okay, linear function means your y value. First of all, you have to check your x values is same equal length. So this is good, equal length, right? So each one increased by 1. Now, your y value, check it, and then what is their difference? You have a common difference. Let's say, you keep adding some constant, right? Or if you subtract some constant, then that's a linear. But your increment is not the same, then probably that's a quadratic. Okay, let's look at here. So if you look at, so 78 minus 53 is like 25, and the other one here, so that's what is it, 19. Hold on, let me quickly put that in. 97 minus 78, so yeah, 19. From here to here, that's 13. From here to here, that's a 7. Okay, that's how much it increase. So okay, so clearly it's not linear, because there are common differences. I mean, there's no common differences. The difference is different. Now let's look at your second difference between two numbers. So this one, their difference is what? 25 to 19. So it's like 6 difference, right? And here 6, and this also 6. Okay, this is important. The difference in the second column, so they have a same common difference now. So that shows that that's a quadratic. Okay, so this is definitely quadratic function. Remember, if it's a second column, they have a this data has a common difference. That means that shows it's a quadratic function. Now then, what's the justification? It's like why? What's the claim? So let's read it. Because the rate of change over consecutive equal lengths input value interval is constant. Okay, that looks like it. Yeah, that looks like it. The rate of the change over this one. The other one is because the change average rate of change. Oh, actually, yeah, D is a better answer. Okay, why then this one is not correct? The C. So the rate of change is they talk about this one here, right? If you remember, rate of change is like f of b minus f of a over b minus a. That's the rate of change, right? So you see that rate of change is this minus this over this minus this. That's like 25, right? And next one, also this minus this over this minus this will be 19. So the rate of change, is it constant? No, they're all different, right? 25, 19, 13, 7. So rate of change is not constant. That's why it's wrong here. Actually, it's wrong. And then if you look at that, look at D, the change in the average rate of change. So you see that those are change in the average rate of change, right? Average rate of change was this value, but change in average rate of change is a constant, right? So then D must be answer. 13. The function g is given by g of x is a 7 sine 2x, and which of the following equivalent for g of x? So this one, quick review, sine 2x, the double angle formula for sine is a 2 sine x cosine x. And you have a lot of formulas, right? Cosine 2x and tangent 2x and plus minus rho, many formulas you should know. But this one is this lecture is just for this test, so I'm not gonna go over entire thing. I'm gonna make a separate video for that. So if you plug in here, which is a 7 times sine 2x is a 2 sine x cosine x. So when you multiply it out, it should be 14 sine x and cosine x, right? So the answer should be A. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the next one. The function g has a property that for each time the input value is double, then output value increase by 1. And which of the following could be the graph of g of x? What does that mean? Input value is a double, then output value will be 1. So like example, you can use the answer choices and see it makes sense for that one. So like example, let's say 1 is a 2 here, right? And then your input value double means okay, that times a 2. So 1 times 2 is here. Then your output should be increased by 1. So that means it should be here. Because 2 to 3, that's 1. But that's not. So you can eliminate this out. Now let's look at here. If this one is a 1, okay, 1 and 0, right? So your input 1 and 0. Then what if it's a double, right? So then, okay, that is 1. So it matches with this explanation. It increased by 1. What about input values are doubled again? So 2 times 2 is a 4. Is it 4, 2 is one of the point on the graph? Yes, that's exactly, right? Let's go one more. 4 times 2 is 8. And then it should be, y value should increase by 1. Then 8, 3. That also correct points in the answer choice. So answer has to be B. So we know that that's a logarithm function. Okay, the other one you can check, but it shouldn't work for this description. Number 15. Complex number. What is a complex number? Complex number is a plus bi form. Okay, real plus imaginary term, like that. Complex number is represented by the point in the complex plane. Okay, complex number has a rectangular coordinate. Those are rectangular means x and y. 3, 3. So which of the following is one way to express the complex number using polar coordinate r, theta? So let's mark it. Where is it? 3, 3. So let's say here 3 roughly. So 3. It's right here. So you need to change the polar coordinate. Polar coordinate. So let's say this is an xy rectangular coordinate. Polar coordinate means like this is we call r, the length from the origin to the end point, and then this one, right, that angle from the positive x-axis, and then you go counterclockwise. That's what we call positive angle. Okay, so you can express that xy coordinate into polar coordinate r, theta. So what formula you can use? You can do this way. From xy to r, theta, then you can do your r is basically square root x squared plus y squared. Okay, and your theta is inverse tangent of y over x. That's formula you're gonna need. Okay, of course you should know the other way, right? What if they ask you the other way? Then should be x equals r cosine theta. I believe you're familiar with this in your pre-calc class. Y equals r sine theta. Okay, that one also like change it from polar to rectangular. So we're gonna use this one for this problem. So when you plug it in, so xy was a 3 comma 3, so your r is square root 3 square plus 3 square, which is 9 plus 9 is 18. Root 18 is 3 root 2, right? And then your data is inverse tangent of 3 over 3. So inverse tangent of 3 over 3 is 1. So inverse tangent of 1. So that one, you're not supposed to use a calculator in this section. So you should know that you can use a unit circle or simply you can memorize it, that tangent value. So that should be 45 degrees or pi over 4. So now I found out my data and r. So if you look at answer choices, so how you gonna find out your answer here? So your expression for this coordinate, polar coordinate, r theta is you should be familiar r cis. Okay, what is r cis? So r is a 3 root 2, and cis means cis stands for cosine, so cosine of that angle, which is a pi over 4, plus I is just I, that imaginary term. And S stands for sine, so sine pi over 4. Okay, that's what we call R cis. That's how you're going to express your polar coordinate. Okay, now after that, so you multiply it out because you don't have this one exactly here. So it looks like, let's see, you can eliminate this one. R is not 3. Also this one you can eliminate. So which one is okay? I know already answer is should be A because your theta value should be pi over 4. Okay. So but let's make it like that. Then when you distribute 3 root 2 cosine of pi over 4 plus I, also you distribute here 3 root 2 sine pi over 4. Okay, that's why you have that. The answer is A. Okay, so the key point here, you need to know how to convert, so which is this one here. Okay, memorize it. And also how you're going to express that after you find out r and theta, you use r cis. Okay, r times the parenthesis cosine plus I sine the theta. Okay, number 16. The figure shows a circle centered at the origin with the angle measured theta radians in standard position. The terminal ray of the angle intersect the circle at point P, and point R lies on a circle. The coordinate P are x and y. The coordinate R is x comma negative y. Which of the following is true about sine of theta? Okay. So one thing we know is that this one tells you your radius circle. So it's kind of unit circle, but unit circle is a radius of 1, but in this case a radius of 5. And it said that P is a coordinate x comma y. So we know that x itself is a negative and y itself is a positive. Okay, based on that P value location is in the second quadrant. So y stands for this length right here, and then x stands for right here. Okay, then what is a sine theta? Question is, what is sine theta? If you remember SOHCAHTOA, I believe you know what I mean here. So is opposite over hypotenuse. So where is opposite of this angle? So this angle use a reference angle here. Reference angle is a positive acute angle between terminal side and x side, which is here. And then your sine is then, so instead of thinking this angle, so you can use a reference angle, right? So sine theta is right here. Sine theta is a opposite over hypotenuse, which is opposite side here, and hypotenuse this one, right? So y over 5. So that's your sine value. So if you look at the answer choices, is this one, right? And then it said ratio of the vertical displacement P from the x-axis, which is they stand for this is y, to the distance between the origin and P, which is a 5. Yeah, so that's the correct answer.